Vladimir Putin's offering asylum to foreigners rejecting neoliberal ideals. Russian officials will begin issuing 3-month visas in September. Dude, 3 months? If you're fleeing your country because you're worried about, like, neoliberal ideas, 3 months ain't going to be enough.
I need to call Putin, get like 3 years. Like, we need to extend that thing out. If I'm going to renounce,
I feel like that's Russia saying, like, you can come here, and if we decide we like you, maybe we'll extend your visa.
Or else we're just gonna.
But if you're importing your terrible values with you, we don't want it.
So they said that
we should do that in Tennessee for the Californians.
The policy reported by the Russian state media agency TASS offers temporary asylum and residence to those who align with traditional values as defined by the Russian government. Putin's decree allows foreign nationals who wish to escape neoliberal ideals to apply for residence in Russia. The policy is framed as providing humanitarian support for individuals fleeing cultural shifts perceived as negative and attracting those who embrace conservative values. Under the new directive, foreign nationals will be eligible to apply for 3-month visas outside the quota approved by the Russian government and without the need to provide documentation proving their knowledge of the Russian language, Russian history, or basic laws. I'd just like to pause. And I wonder how long after you arrive they're going to conscript you and send you to Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. I didn't consider that. I guess I won't be going to Russia after all.
You don't need to know their basic laws, and Russia has now learned that they can, wrongfully detain Americans, and that eventually the American government will just come to the table and negotiate on whatever terms they want. I mean, at least under Biden. I actually think Russia is a really interesting country, and I think their culture is interesting, and a lot of people would find values that they appreciate about it. But it's difficult to. I don't know that I'd encourage anyone to apply until Donald Trump is in office, right? Like, the Biden administration cannot negotiate with Russia over anything. And it's just really bad foreign diplomacy. So, when you go abroad, be very careful about who the Biden administration is trying to talk to.
I just want to say that the reason I'm so bullish about America is because the 10th Amendment. Because you could live in states like Tennessee, states like West Virginia, and you're pretty good. Like, you're shielded from a lot of things that happen in other states. So that's why I like it. I'm not threatening to move. I'm not like, oh, I'm going to Russia. Everybody's like, because I'm outspoken about sending money to foreign countries for war, Israel included. And by the way, if people don't know, I'm genetically Jewish, right? Like, my mom served in the IDF. My grandfather escaped Auschwitz. I don't think we should send any money to Israel. I don't think we should send any money to Ukraine. And I'm outspoken about that. People are like, oh, you're a Putin sympathizer. No, I'm an American sympathizer. We're $34 trillion in debt. We should be sending money anywhere. That's like if I was broke and you needed money, so I borrowed money from Tim to give it to you. That would make no sense. I can't even feed my own kids. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, look, Putin's, I don't know if this is a PR ploy or if he's just saying it to rub it in that people might come to Russia. I don't know what his motive is.
Yeah, they're going to send you to Siberia, and then you're going to be living in eternal winter or something.
It'd be like Rocky IV.
I think it is to remind people in the West that, like, their values are not as forward as you think they are. Like, there are lots of ideologies that are present in Western and European countries right now that I actually think are antithetical to American values. And I think we have shifted away from the fact that, like, China is actively run by the Communist Party, and for some reason Democrats are like, yeah, but we'd rather work with them than Russia. Like, interesting that we're like using different sliding scales to measure our world enemies.
I think Americans are also, we're isolated. Like, we don't understand. I've traveled abroad. I understand how these other countries, there's a lot of cool things in other countries. There's culture, there's their systems. Like, we think our way is the best way because we were taught that from a young age. American patriotism, nationalism, it puts us on this level where we don't empathize with other countries and their values. So we think, oh, this is wrong. And I could point to Sharia law, right? Like, Sharia law, it's their culture. Who am I to speak about someone else's culture? Would it work here? Nah, I don't think my wife would go for that. But I think we need to empathize that our way of life doesn't necessarily have to be everybody's way of life. Spreading democracy, that doesn't have to be our end goal. Our goal should be to make America great.
Yeah.
Period.
Agreed.
I have a question about the China-Russia thing going on here. Is it because our politicians like China more than they like Russia? Is it because they make products for us and we make money from them, whereas Russia, we don't?
Yes, China does have an economic stranglehold on America right now. And I think all of our politicians are aware of that.
Well, they're getting rid of a lot of it. And with the petrodollar deal ending with Saudi Arabia, who knows where this ends up?
I know.
Yeah, it could just be the end of the American empire. Everybody is gonna be in for a rude awakening when the dollar value completely implodes, and they're wondering why an Apple MacBook costs $15,000. People don't understand this. Like, they don't get economics, right? What does increasing the minimum wage in, say, New Jersey do for the people of New Jersey? Every business then has to charge more, but let's play a game. Let's say every business in New Jersey had absolutely no problem increasing everybody's starting salary to $30 an hour, just like that. The businesses didn't get shut down. The government, New Jersey came in and said, we're giving everyone a flat grant to normalize all revenue. Prices are up. Everyone's wages instantly go up. And everyone goes, well, okay, the number is higher. Everything costs the exact same. It doesn't matter. The value of labor doesn't change. The number assigned to the labor that you're involved in is relative to the labor around you. If everyone was getting paid $30 an hour, then you'd have to increase the cost of the cheeseburgers made by the guy who gets paid $30 an hour to make the cheeseburger. Then when the construction worker comes in to buy a cheeseburger, he's like, why is the cheeseburger $37? It's like, because this guy gets paid $30 an hour to make them. In order to cover the cost of his government mandated wage, the burger has to be sold for this amount of money. It changes nothing. Now, that being said, if somebody's making cheeseburgers in California and freezing them and their wages are less, you could order it to be delivered for a lot cheaper. That's basically how it works here in the United States with China. China's wages are dirt. Yeah. So we get things made for dirt cheap and they sell it here. The only problem is that means U.S. dollars are being extracted and brought to China so that China can then spend whatever they want with them and our dollars are leaving around country. Ultimately, what I'm trying to get at is the benefits we have with the current economic system is that the laptops and our cell phones that are made in Korea and China are extremely cheap relative to what they should be if the U.S. economy was normalized off the petrodollar with every other nation. It should cost you probably $5,000 for that $1,000 laptop. But the petrodollar is the U.S. just makes money. They print money. They offer up debt. And with that debt, we at the barrel of the gun, we tell everybody trade in dollars or else if you want oil. With Saudi Arabia getting off that arrangement, now people are going to be like, we don't need U.S. dollars anymore. We can trade in whatever we want. So the question then becomes, what does the U.S. dollar represent? Nothing. So that means we're going to go to South Korea and we're going to be like, if you want to buy oil, you got to use U.S. dollars. And they're going to be like, actually, we can use yuan now. And so now the U.S. petrodollar is in competition with China. China's offering us a better deal. We have to give them a lot less. So they're going to buy laptops from us for the equivalent of 3,000 U.S. dollars instead of 1,000. And we're not going to sell to you anymore. Then the U.S. prices are going to skyrocket. All of your imports are going to go through the roof unless, actually, I don't think there's an unless. I don't think
there is either.
Right. It's coming.
And have you ever priced out product like, let's say, gym bags? Have you ever priced it out something like that in the U.S. and in China for the same product?
Oh, I have, yes.
It's $5 to probably $40.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
So we're putting skateboards together for the boonies. People are asking about like the skateboard we have behind Hannah Claire that says "Step on Sneck and find out," and everybody wants one. We've got it's slightly redesigned. The boonies logo is updated, and so we're getting all American made stuff. Nice. And they have these, and it's really sad, man. I'm gonna be completely honest. We're talking to these manufacturers and they're like, we can do American made or we can do Chinese made. Yeah. And we're like, no, we're not going to go anywhere near Chinese made. We want American made. And they're like, well, we'll send you samples. You let us know what you think. We get these samples and a couple of them are just amazing. Chinese.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. The Chinese gym bags are better every time.
Yep.
Every time. They're better made, better quality. They'll last forever.
I did not expect that.
I was like, hey, which board is this one? Like, oh, that one's the China one. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They do good work.
But the problem is, you take North American rock maple, harvest it, ship it to China. Chinese laborers make the skateboards and send them back, and that is the stupidest thing in the world. But they're cheaper, and so we have to sell $10 more per board. I think it's actually $15 more, but we're reducing our profit margin to compensate. So when we're looking at the original prices, it's going from like $30 to $50 for a board. And so our profit margins are dirt on this. And I'm like, that means we have to sell substantially more skateboards to finance the operation in terms of selling skateboards. Yeah. It is not This is why the skate industry is in trouble. But you do a Chinese board and you get it here out the door, $30. Now you're looking at pros sell their board for $70. They make a $40. They make $40 on top. And $30 covers the cost of everything. I think the actual boards themselves might be like $7. But then with legal, shipping, blah, 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 everything out the door, $30. They sell them for 70. They take $40 off the top. They give like 10 to 15 to the pro skateboarder, and the company takes the rest. We're going to do American made, and it's going to be 50 out the door, and we make $5 or something like that.
It's hard. Yeah, it's at the point now where, so we do the same thing with shaker cups. We get them American made. And a lot of times they're given away, but we're giving away, a GWP gift with purchase that could be $1.25, and instead it's $4.25. And that gift with purchase obviously takes away from our direct margin. So to do business as we try to do as much as humanly possible with everything, including ingredients, you're going to have a higher cost. So let's say you go on Amazon, you're looking up supplements, you go, oh, this one's cheaper. I can tell you why it's cheaper. They're using cheaper ingredients. Unfortunately for ingredients, the quality doesn't always pan out. Like, it's different. Like, we have these policies in place. Now, I'm usually an anti-policy guy. The FDA does have a place in a lot of oversight. I'll say that as someone who's in direct discussion with the FDA every week. The FDA does more good than bad in my industry because we need that policing. We're not going to self-police. You're dealing with consumable goods, like E. coli outbreaks at Chipotle.
Yeah.
Right.
I was going to say the consequences of some of not having regulation of these things is actually pretty serious.
Exactly. So I'm actually more pro-FDA than I am anti-FDA. And my co-host on Evening Rants, Alan Roberts, we battle about this all the time. But, I'm very, I see more good in the FDA than bad, especially for consumables. So we kind of do need that oversight of some nature because the industry will not police itself. It just won't.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.